Welcome to Tyler Walker Romance. You're about to dive into one of Miss Tyler's free full audiobooks. She always knows how to make you forget your life with handsome alpha male billionaire heroes and sassy strong heroines who grab love with both hands. In order for this content to be free, we have to take out the dirty details. Otherwise, we risk disrupting this platform's rules and guidelines. Buy the unabridged version of any Tyler Walker audiobook from tylerwalker.com, and with code SAVE40, you can get 40% off any digital product at checkout. Take this moment to subscribe to the channel, and remember that liking and commenting is what makes these free full audiobooks possible. Thank you for choosing to treat yourself with Miss Tyler. Chapter 1. Lillian. Las Vegas, the city of go big or go home. Many aspiring starlets move to Las Vegas to get a shot at their dreams, and I just so happen to be one of them. "Cut!" the director yells. He runs a hand through his sleek black hair, a clear look of frustration on his face. No, Diane," he says as he shakes his head emphatically. I snap myself out of my role as a dead girl, body half lying on top of a toilet, and stand to meet the director's gaze of disapproval. I clear my throat awkwardly and mutter, "It's actually Lillian Sparks, sir." He rolls his eyes. "Right? Whatever." Lillian. "Did I do something wrong?" I ask, not relishing the feeling of being the center of his ire. He sighs in frustration. "Could you make yourself look even more, dead?" "Right, look more dead, Lillian." I resist the urge to roll my eyes at the guy who's basically going to sign my paycheck for the month. God knows I need the money. I'm barely making enough to pay rent. I've been trying my luck in Las Vegas for 3 years and haven't managed to land anything worth mentioning. All I've gotten are jobs as extras in low-budgeted films. The competition is just too steep, and I'm already at the end of my rope. "Hey, you hear me talking to you?" the director says, obnoxiously snapping his fingers in front of my face. With a feeling of resignation, I nod, not wanting to argue about his eccentricities. I move back into position, my body laying limp over the toilet seat, my head bent at an awkward angle, willing my eyes to look dead for the damn director. "In action!" he yells. I swallow back the sigh that's about to escape from my lips. Is it always going to be like this? I can't help but wonder. Maybe I'm better off moving back to New York to be a waitress. I'm sure Aunt Mary would be grateful for the extra pair of hands in her coffee shop. Besides, Vegas is getting to cost way too much for a broke actress such as myself. "And that's a wrap," the director finally calls. I get myself cleaned up, the thought of hanging up my dream of being a big-time actress weighing heavily on my mind. "Hey, Diane," the director shouts. I turn my attention back to the sleaze bag. "It's Lillian," I correct him again. "Right, of course, Lillian." He smiles, openly leering at my form-fitting outfit with the short skirt. His hand rubs against my side, and I try to suppress the disgusted shudder that's about to make its way down my spine. I feel a sudden wave of nausea hit me from his unwelcome touch. I know a lot of actresses get opportunities through the unspoken rules of the Hollywood industry, but I can't bring myself to do it. I'm a woman of integrity, and I want to get by on sheer talent, not by the size of my rack. Besides, one of my board mates once landed a cameo in a soap opera. Through those unsavory methods, she came home with bruises all over her body and couldn't even stand for a week. Whomever she made an agreement with must have been some kind of sadist. I promised right there and then to never put myself in that kind of situation. Not if I can help it. "Thanks," my voice stammers as I pull away from his touch. His smile doesn't waver in the least. "How about I give you the lead in my next movie? All you have to do is show me a bit of a good time." I shake my head frantically. "I'm not that kind of woman, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me." I walk hurriedly towards the exit, wanting to put as much distance from the sleaze as possible. "You'll come crawling back," I hear him shout. "Not a chance," I mutter. The ride back to my apartment is silent. My dreams feel like they're getting further from my grasp. I wipe away the lone tear that rolls down my cheek. Las Vegas is feeling more of a mistake with each passing day. I turn the key to my old crummy apartment, shutting the door behind my back with a heavy sigh of defeat. I pack my clothes inside my luggage, my mind completely made up. I'm going back to New York. I gambled, and it didn't pay off. And I have to accept that. Just as I'm drowning in self-pity, my phone rings. My heart clenches when I see Sam's name on the screen. The only reason I held on for so long is Sam. He's the kindest manager any aspiring starlet could ever ask for. He doesn't force me to do anything that I don't want to. He respects me and does his best to get me a lot of jobs. Unfortunately, his efforts, along with mine, just aren't enough to get me anywhere. "Hey, Sam, what is it?" I answer. "Girl, you're not going to believe it. I've got a job for you. A very special one," he says excitedly. It's probably another job as an extra, but it can't hurt to hear him out. "Really? What's the job?" I ask. "I got the info from a friend of a friend of a friend. It sounds totally legit, girl. The project's pretty hush-hush. So you got to go to the audition to find out the details." I make no effort to hide my skepticism. Hush-hush? That sounds all sorts of sketchy, Sam. I mean, why all the secrecy if it's something legit? I don't want to get entangled with a bad set of people. Trust me, this is the real deal. It's going to kickstart your career toward stardom, Sam assures. What could it hurt? All right, give me the address, I say, giving in. Sam cheers through the phone, wishing me all the luck in the world, but at the same time, saying that I won't be needing it. I end the call feeling slightly hopeful. This is it, Lillian. One last shot at stardom before you put your dream to rest.
Chapter 2.
Casper. I'm sorry, Mr. Lux. I'm afraid I have no other choice. Goodbye. There goes another one. I hang up the phone and stare at the wall in disbelief. I need to close my eyes and swallow back the bile that's rising in my throat. Casper? Is everything okay? My co-producer, Ricky Zen, who also happens to be my friend, eyes me nervously as he drinks his can of soda. No, Ricky, I say a little too harshly. Everything is not okay. In fact, everything is going down the drain. Did another investor pull out? He asks. Yeah, I answer curtly. Who was it this time? He asks. Harvey Cahill. Ricky almost chokes on his soda. My assistant Mario pretends to write something in his notebook. I roll my eyes and hand Ricky a Kleenex. Jesus, Casper, says Ricky exasperatedly. Not Cahill, we're screwed. You don't say. Some of my investors have been pulling out of my film due to my recent scandal. Who'd want to work with a director who gets romantically involved with any girl he can get his hands on? Is it because of Casey? Ricky asks with deep concern on his face. It's Cassie, I correct him. Seriously, Casper, I don't care. Is it because of your scandal? I look at Mario, who's still busy scribbling in his notebook. I don't know why I'm hesitant to answer Ricky's question when it's not even a secret. Maybe I'm just ashamed. Yes. I was kissing Cassie outside a bar one night when paparazzi suddenly arrived and took photos of us. It was all over the news the following morning. I don't want to brag, but I'm really good at my craft, and I'm well respected for it. The problem is that beautiful women always surround me, and I'm not one to say no to grace. What can I say? They just love me. I replace my current chick like I replace my old clothes, whenever I get bored or feel like it. Unfortunately, it started to affect my career. Being the famous award-winning director that I am, I know that I have to make a movie that's not just about the corny cliches of life. I want to produce a film that raises awareness about what's happening in our community. I want to make a movie that makes an impact. Being seen with different ladies every week isn't helping. Investors are starting to doubt my credibility, making them reluctant to continue working with me. Now, Harvey Cahill, my biggest investor, just pulled out everything he invested in my upcoming movie. This needs to stop, Casper. Ricky stands and makes a fadeaway shot, shooting his empty can of soda in the trash. That makes me smile. I know, I'm sorry. I promise to... No! Ricky waves his hand in dismissal and sits back in his chair. We need a ruse. Mario looks up from his notebook in interest. Ricky smiles at me in a way that makes it seem he's got everything figured out. I, on the other hand, am confused. A ruse? I ask with a raised eyebrow. A ruse is like a trick, you know? To deceive. I know what a ruse is, Ricky, I say. What exactly do you have in mind? You're going to make everyone believe that you are in a serious relationship with someone, and that you have kept it a secret to respect your girlfriend's privacy. Are you crazy? I ask Ricky. No one's going to believe that. Do you know how many women have been photographed with me in the past month? Think about it, Casper. If you come clean about having a secret girlfriend, everyone would just think that the only reason you're seeing other girls in public is to divert the spotlight from her. They'll think there was nothing in the world you wanted more than to protect your girlfriend. Ricky uses air quotes as he says this, and I scoff. Mario starts writing furiously in his notebook again, and I suddenly can't help but snap. I turn to face him, and he suddenly stops. What are you even writing? I ask my assistant. The minutes, he replies. This is a meeting, right? Seriously? I ask. Mario shrugs and continues writing. Well, Ricky isn't wrong. I've got no other ideas anyway, so maybe I should just give it a shot. All right, I finally say. Let's do it. Great, exclaims Ricky. Now, where can we find the perfect girl for you? Mario, I say as I stand and start to pace the room. I want you to come up with a list of actresses I can choose for this job. You mean the woman who'll pretend to be your girlfriend? He asks without looking up from his notebook. Yes, that. Got it. Also, I add, make sure to choose only the newbies. I want someone who's so innocent, she can't bear to have any attention focused on her. Unlike all of your previous flings? Mario asks innocently. Yes, Mario. Thank you for pointing that out. Anything else? That would be all. You may go now. An hour later, Mario comes back with the list I asked for. It's a pretty long list, and I need to be careful about who I pick from it. One more mistake, and that will be the end of me. I choose 10 girls from the list, not because they look like good actresses, but because they're all gorgeous. My pretend girlfriend has to be beautiful and classy. She has to be basic. As I go over the list of final candidates, one blonde in particular catches my eye. Amory? Damn, she looks good. Actually, it's Amory's chest that caught my attention. Still, she's pretty enough to pass as my girlfriend, but she needs to be sophisticated too. If there's one thing that I can't stand, it's being told that I have bad taste. I'm a famous director, after all. I can't be seen with some cheap wannabe actress. I put the list down and lean back into my chair as I massage my temples. The past couple of days have taken a toll on me. Ricky's plan has to work. I just can't handle another scandal.
Chapter 3. Lillian. I check if I'm at the right address before stepping into the back door of an old rundown building. A bulky man in a black t-shirt stands right in front of the door. It's definitely not your run-of-the-mill audition place, but the added security is a little reassuring. Name? The man asks. Lillian Sparks, I answer. He checks the clipboard that he's holding and nods before opening the door for me. I take a deep breath before nervously entering the building. There are already 10 other women in the waiting area, and they all look beautiful. I can sense their scrutiny from the moment I walk in the door. I subtly peruse my appearance in front of a floor-length mirror at the side, with my long, lustrous, curly black hair falling freely down my waist, dark, almond-shaped eyes and small face. My features aren't exactly lacking. Add to that my simple red midi floral dress with a slightly deep V-neck cut. coupled with my black stiletto heels. And I'm just the right mix of beautiful and casual. Still, the thought of going up against so many of these beautiful women worries me. 3 women are talking casually by a corner, their confidence brimming. "I've got this in the bag, ladies. You might as well just pack it up because I'm a shoe-in for the part," a tall, curvy brunette says tauntingly. The blonde woman next to her snorts, "Oh, come off it, Stella. If anyone's going to get this project, it's going to be me." "You're just as delusional as ever, Amory," the brunette sasses. The other women are keeping to themselves, choosing not to engage with their competition. I follow their example, sitting myself on a comfy-looking chair at the side. I'm not here to look for a catfight. One by one, the women enter the audition room, each one of them coming back to the waiting area, looking assured that they've got the part. The longer I wait for my turn, the more my heart threatens to leap out of my chest. The moment of truth finally arrives. My name gets called, and my professional persona takes over. I push all my nerves to the back of my mind, portraying a strong and confident woman. I glide into the audition room with my head held high, when my eyes get stuck on a pair of deep-set hazel eyes. I pause, captivated by the man's overall appearance. His slicked-back hair, angular features, golden tan skin, and Adonis-like frame make him seem like a god walking among mortals. Someone in the room clears their throat, snapping me out of my daze. I fight off the embarrassment that's threatening to rise to the surface. I can't believe I was staring at him like a complete idiot. Now that I've got my head back in the game, I fully realize that the gorgeous specimen isn't alone. The 2 men beside him introduce themselves, with the blonde sitting at the left being Ricky Zen, a well-known producer. The man on the right introduces himself as Mario Gonzalez, the assistant of the famous director, Casper Lux, who just so happens to be the sexy hazel-eyed man at the center. Now that the 3 of us have introduced ourselves, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, starting with who you are? The man that I've come to know as Casper says huskily. Oh God, even his voice is sexy. "My name is Lillian Sparks. My dream is to become an actress. I work hard and take every role given to me seriously. I'm not afraid of being criticized since I believe there's always room to improve," I say, listing down more of my positive qualities. "Why an actress?" the gorgeous Casper asks. "Being an actress has been a passion of mine since the first time I saw Audrey Hepburn on film when I was a little girl. She's an inspiration to women everywhere. I want to inspire dreams like she did. I want to show the world that talent can come from any corner of the world, in all shapes and sizes." "That's an admirable dream." Ricky smiles warmly. "Thank you, Lillian. Now, if you please wait outside. We'll be sure to inform you once we've made our decision," Casper says dismissively. I flash them my best smile, thanking them profusely for their time. I walk back to the waiting area, just having realized that I'm the last applicant. My nervousness comes back in full force. It doesn't help that most of the applicants are gushing about how they managed to snag the attention of the rich and famous director, Casper Lux. The blonde woman, Amory, not one to be outdone, mentions how Casper complimented her on her beauty. This only made the chatter around the room grow louder. My heart clenches, feeling like the chances of being picked are getting slimmer. The other women are even putting on more makeup in order to get the director's attention. At this point, I decide to tune out all their useless prattle. The only thing left to do is wait, but an hour feels like an eternity when I'm this nervous. Then the awaited moment comes. The door opens, and Casper's assistant, Mario, calls out my name. I pat myself on the back for being able to hide my shock. I honestly wasn't expecting to be picked. I thought Amory was the one with the biggest shot, considering all the boasting she'd been doing since she came back from her audition. The women in the room are either giving me hateful glares or unreadable expressions. Amory's face, however, is full of contempt. I ignore the looks they're throwing my way and follow closely behind Mario. Now that I'm in front of two of Hollywood's most influential people, I feel like my dream is about to become reality. Never did I expect to be offered something so out of the ordinary that my life would change irrevocably.
Chapter 4. Casper. I told you, I say to Ricky as we rearrange the candidates list, I don't want anyone else but Amory. And I told you, Ricky replies through gritted teeth, that Amory is not the right girl for this. I continue to bicker with my co-producer as the door slowly opens, revealing the pretty girl in red that Ricky wanted me to choose. She quietly enters the room, not uttering a single word. She lingers by the door, contemplating whether to approach us. Seriously, Casper, Ricky whispers in my ear. All that blonde bimbo ever did was flirt during the auditions. Amory? Who else? Ricky hisses at me. He smiles at the girl and says, Please come closer and take a seat, Lillian. Ah, yes, Lillian. Like the flower, Lily. She looks innocent and pure. I watch Lillian as she walks towards us. Her long, curly hair sways with her every move. Her red dress complements her curves and makes her appear taller, even if she only stands a little taller than 5 feet. Lillian's eyes dart back and forth from Mario, Ricky, and me as she nears our table. Looking at her, I now realize that she's even more beautiful up close. I wonder how those pouty lips of hers would feel on mine. Focus, Casper. Now is not the time for ridiculous daydreaming. All right, I'll go with Ricky on this one. Have a seat, Miss Sparks. As I say that, Mario, my assistant, stands up and pulls out a chair for Lillian and pushes it under her until she's seated comfortably. Thank you, says Lillian to Mario, who is still standing beside her and smiling like a little kid. When Mario sees me looking at him, he goes back to his seat and starts scribbling in his notebook. I turn my attention back to Lillian, and as every second passes, I'm starting to like her even more. She smiles at me, and I smile back. Before I can say anything, Ricky starts talking to her. How are you feeling today, Lillian? A little nervous, but I feel good. How about you? She asks Ricky in a tone that suggests sincerity. I don't hear Ricky's reply because I tune out of their conversation and just stare at Lillian's pretty face. I'm sure that there is more to her than just her beauty. I know a good person when I see one. I lay Lillian's file in front of me and place my clasped hands on top of it to show that I mean business. It's time that we talk, Lillian. Tell me again why you're here, Lillian. My request clearly confuses her, but I wait for her response. I'm here for a job, Mr. Lux, she replies. Call me Casper. I'm here for a job, Casper, Lillian repeats. I know that, but why? She looks at me curiously. Again, I wait for her to answer. She takes a deep breath, and then she starts to talk. Because I trust that being an actress will allow me to continue to grow. I strongly believe that being an actress is not just about being pretty. Good. Ricky is right. Lillian is the perfect girl for this job. Okay then, the job is yours, I say to her, and the excitement is evident in her face. Really? She exclaims. Thank you so much. Ricky and Mario clap their hands. They seem relieved to have finally found a woman to play the role of my pretend girlfriend. Now it's time to tell her what she needs to do. So, what's my role going to be? Lillian asks me excitedly. You're going to act as my fiancé? My short answer surprises Lillian. She raises an eyebrow and alternately looks at the three of us, before turning back her attention to me. You mean your fiancé in a movie? She inquires, obviously starting to doubt the gig. No, Lillian. You're going to pretend to act that you're my fiancé in real life. I try to put that as gently as possible, but it looks like I failed. I'm sorry, I'm confused. Lillian is starting to panic, and Ricky steps in before things take a jog to the left. Look, Lillian, the thing is, Casper has been involved with a scandal recently, and it's not doing him any good. We thought that maybe if he shows the public that he's actually in a serious relationship, the scandal will end, and people will start trusting him again. We need your help to clean up this mess." "My mess, you mean? Ricky is really good at talking to people. I can see that Lillian is giving it some thought, but I'm still not sure what she's thinking." "No," Lillian says curtly. "I won't be paid for acting as your fiancé." She's looking directly at me. Honestly, I can't blame her for not wanting this. "This is all just pretend, Lillian," I reply, trying to calm her down. "Besides, the audition is also for a second lead role in my current movie, Springtime. We're going to clean Casper's butt." Ricky finally says it, and Mario looks at me as if waiting for me to burst in anger at Ricky's choice of words. I hate to admit it, but I am a dirty jerk. "We'll have a contract for you, Lillian. No kissing, sex, or contact of any kind unless it's necessary. But of course, once in the public eye, we'll have to act like a loving couple. We need to do a convincing job of being madly in love with each other." "I don't think I can do it. I won't do it," Lillian declares stubbornly. "You will be paid handsomely, Lillian," Ricky tells her in a soft voice, almost pleadingly. "There's one essential rule, though. You can't fall in love with me." I let that hang in the air. Ricky lets out a loud sigh, probably pissed at me for saying something like that when we're not even sure if Lillian will agree to our terms. For a moment, nobody speaks. All that can be heard is Mario's continuous scribbling, as if he's actually writing something important. The silence is finally broken by the sound of Lillian's chair scraping the floor. "I'm going to need some time to think about this. I'll call you, Mr. Lux, to let you know of my decision. Thank you all so much for your time." Lillian exits the room, and Ricky turns to me with a disgusted look on his face. I try to play it cool. "Really, Casper?" he asks bitterly. "She can't fall in love with you? Did you really have to say that?" "Don't worry, she'll come around. I'm sure she won't be able to refuse our offer." I look at the door, hoping that she'll come back and agree to take the job. The door remains closed. How disappointing.
Chapter 5. Lillian. What was that about? I scream as I slam the door to Sam's office behind me. How the hell could you make me go to something that crazy? Even though I told him every bit of the story I could over the phone on my way from the audition, I still feel the shock, anger, and disappointment boiling fresh within me. People were looking at me like I was crazy as I was walking down the street, screaming at my cell phone. As if that wasn't enough, I even broke one of my heels. It's been a tough day, to say the least. Plopping myself down, I take my blistered feet out of my uncomfortable shoes and rest them on the couch. Even with my height, I take up most of the sofa. Sam really needs to get a larger one, preferably one that doesn't have springs sticking out of the cushions. "Tell me, Sam." I turn my head to look him in the eye. "What made you think that was a good idea?" "It is a good idea," he insists. "It's absurd. It's going to launch your career." "I don't want it launched that way. I'm not going to be one of those girls, Sam." He only looks at me with tired eyes as he seems to notice my change in tone. Sam knows me like a best friend, which is why I'm all the more surprised he thought I'd go along with this plan. If I'm going to be famous, it's because of my talent, which I have, mind you. Not by the size of your rack, he finishes. I know. Sam moves my legs over and sits down beside me. "I don't know why you won't put it to good use when it's clearly such an advantage." He sighs. Sam means well. He always does. "I can't do it," I tell him. "But why not? Just think of it as an acting gig," he says nonchalantly. I stop to think about it. He is right on some level. Pretending to be Casper Lux's newest love would be just like a role. I ask Sam, "Don't you think it's weird that he'd be willing to go through this just to save his career? Hasn't he done enough damage to his image as a playboy?" "People do lots of things to save their careers, sweetie," Sam retaliates. And frankly, I don't know what's stopping you from doing the same. This isn't actually you selling yourself, you know. You did say the contract had specific mentions about physical intimacy. Yeah, but I try to make up more excuses. I don't see how this is going to help me with my career. Isn't this just going to paint me as another bimbo who's trying to sleep her way to the top? Even if I don't actually do that, I don't want people to see it like that. That's where Casper comes into play. This isn't a one-woman show, darling. The two of you will have to be convincing together. He sighs, then says, listen, if he turns out unresponsive to all of this, he waves his hand over me. It'll be pretty easy to paint him as the bad guy, but only if worst comes to worst. Sam looks at me as if everything's already been laid out in black and white for me to see. And all I have to do is realize how I have nothing to lose going into this. Maybe I don't. Lillian, if you agree to do this, it's a huge chance for you to get noticed. Maybe casting directors out there are looking for a girl just like you. Yes. Think of all the press, Lillian. This could be your shot. But if you don't, Sam says, then I guess you're going home. I'd hate to see you say goodbye to your dreams after everything we've been through. I bury my face in the cushions of his couch and scream. I'm going to lose my mind, Sam. You and me both, sweetie. You and me both. The two of us sit in the silence of his office, masked by the white noise of the city coming in from his open window. I'm going home, I say after a while. Outside the building, Sam kisses me on the cheek as we head in opposite directions. When I arrive home, I go straight to the kitchen to make myself a cup of tea. I find a half-empty box of donuts in the fridge and grab a honey-glazed piece. I wolf it down in 4 bites, and once my tea is warm enough, finish the cup in one huge gulp. I feel disgusted. The hot shower I take does nothing to uplift my spirits. Even my most comfortable pair of pajamas feels itchy and hard to breathe in. I take the top off, leaving me in a thin white tank top. After about half an hour of tossing and turning, I decide, stop trying. I'm never falling asleep, not with so many things running through my head. I want to cry, but I'm not able to. Maybe crying isn't the answer. Maybe I'm not sad about all of this, and I'm just really, really confused. I stay in the living room to watch TV. I don't even notice the time until I see a faint glow from outside. The sun is rising. Jesus, I think to myself. I've been up the whole night. I walk over to a nearby mirror and look at myself, tautening the skin on my neck and cheeks. Not getting an ounce of sleep is not a good look. The bags under my droopy eyes makes me want to cry even more. Opening the window, I look out at city beyond and below my apartment building. Already, people on the streets are hustling for the day ahead. I should do the same. I know what I have to do. This is it, baby. This is what you can get me that'll make me happy.
You know I'll get you whatever you want. All you need to do is ask me and I'll give it to you.
This ain't just it. This is everything I could ever want.
Now I'm curious. What does a strong, sassy woman like yourself want so badly?
Baby, you know what I want?
Can't wait to hear.
The Big Baddie Bundle from Tyler Walker. It has everything I need.
20 ebooks with over 1 million words of sassy romance and spice that'll keep you on your toes.
10 audiobooks containing over 60 hours of that seductive voice telling me naughty things all night long.
You don't need an audiobook for that, baby. Right here.
You may be fine and all, but no one tells it like the way Miss Tyler does. And I need her in my life.
The Big Baddie Bundle is everything you need. You can get it for 80% off.
Go to TylerWalker.com to browse the bundles that earn you the best deals.
It's time you treat yourself. Because you deserve it.
Escape your life with Miss Tyler.
Chapter 6. Casper. My alarm goes off. It's 6 o'clock in the morning and the sun is just starting to rise above the horizon. It's never too early to work out. One of my life mottos is to seize the day, and I'm doing just that. I put on my exercise gear, grab a bottle of ice-cold water from the fridge, and continue towards my workout room. It's not a gym per se, but I've invested in a few machines that I can use to improve my physique. I warm up with the treadmill. With the push of several buttons, I'm now brisk walking while reading today's headlines from the display. My mind starts to wander, and suddenly I'm thinking about Lillian Sparks. In the short moments I spent with her, I could feel her passion and drive. Her face is gorgeous, and she's got a hot body to boot, which is why I've been trying to think of reasons she hasn't landed any roles, even minor ones. Maybe she's been auditioning for the wrong parts. She wants to be an artist, so she's been desperately looking for her big break. I'm confident she'll accept our offer. While it's true that what we're asking from her is unconventional, I'd like to think that I can help her later on. I lose my train of thought as the machine goes into an incline and speeds up. I run until the program's completed and my legs ache. After a quick shower, I dress casually as I don't have much planned for the day. I head to the kitchen, grab some cereal, yogurt, and an apple. The quintessential healthy breakfast. As I settle down by the dining table, my phone vibrates. I stare at the unknown number flashing on my screen. Who could be calling me? I don't give out my personal mobile number to just anyone. Curiosity gets the better of me, and I answer the phone. Hello? Is this Casper Lux? The voice from the other end of the line asks hesitantly. She sounds familiar, but I can't be sure. Who's asking? It's me, Lillian Sparks, the woman you're hiring for your new role, she introduces herself. I got your number from Ricky. Is this a good time to talk to you? Yes, Lillian, of course. What do you need? I've already made my decision regarding your offer. Can we meet somewhere so I can tell you? I think it's better to do it face to face. I'm free right now. Why don't we meet in about an hour? You choose the place. There's quite a long pause before she answers. Okay, let's meet at the small cafe at the corner by the audition venue yesterday. Great, see you there, I say, and we end the call. She's accepting the contract. I can feel it in my bones. I'm ecstatic. Even if she comes to the table with her own conditions, I'm certain we can arrive at a compromise. A brilliant idea pops into my head. I scroll through my phone contacts until I find the name of one of the paparazzi I've somehow befriended. I call him to let him know he should head to the cafe. He'll be the first to report on my new relationship, and he's got to do it right after he takes our photos. I promise him a nice tip if the news goes out before the day ends. He agrees to my terms. Road to redemption, here I come. With a bright bouquet of sunflowers in my hand, I open the door to the cafe. I look around and I spot Lillian, sipping her iced coffee. I hope she hasn't been here long. Confident of what will happen, I stride towards her. She almost looks surprised as she sees me approach. The photographer should be able to get good shots from this angle. I give the bouquet to Lillian. She looks unsure of what to do as she fidgets for a while before finally accepting the flowers. She puts it on one side of the table. I don't understand what she's doing, but I guess it's part of the act. I sit in front of her. A waiter passes by and I order a cup of decaffeinated coffee. Time to get down to business. I've got the contract right here, I say, pointing to my bag. Would you like to review it before signing? She shakes her head. I'm sorry, but you might have misunderstood me. I told you I've already made my decision. I've decided that I'm not accepting the job. This can't be happening. I need to do something. She can't back down from my offer. We're probably already the latest trending topic in Hollywood. If you think that our salary offer is too low, we can work that out, I explain. Let me know what else you need so that we can factor that in. It's not about the money, she says. I can help you be famous. I've got a lot of connections in the industry and I can help you land a role. If you'd like, I can give you the main role in the next drama series that I'll be directing. Just name your price, I offer. She gives me a small, wistful smile. You don't get it? I may not have much, but I've got a set of principles in my life. I'm not going to go for a role that I didn't work hard for. She stands up and quietly tells me, It's been nice knowing you. I hope you find the actress that you're looking for." Without saying anything else, she leaves the cafe. I stay in my seat, trying to process what exactly happened in such a short amount of time. When the waiter comes by and brings me my coffee, I try to look for the paparazzi outside, but it looks like he's been long gone. I'll deal with him later. The image of Lillian walking away keeps replaying in my mind. She's got character, which is something I love not only in a fake fiancé, but in my next leading lady. She can't just refuse. I finish my drink and leave the payment plus a generous tip on the table. I need a plan. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to recruit Lillian Sparks.
Chapter 7. Lillian. You did what? Sam is so disappointed with me he won't even meet my eyes. Come on, Sam, I say as I try to call his attention. There's nothing for me here. It's time for me to go home. After some time, Sam decides to sit with me. He holds my hands and says, "I guess we won't be seeing each other for a long time then." "I'll miss you, Sam." "Lillian," Sam starts to say, "I know your flight to New York is tonight, but are you sure about this?" "There's no reason for me to wait any longer," I explain as I stand up and take my purse. It's time for us to say our goodbyes. After spending a few more hours with Sam, he drops me off at home. I head straight to my room to pack my belongings, take a quick shower, get dressed, then settle down on the couch. One last look at my apartment is all I need. I guess this is it, Lillian. I call for a cab to take me to the airport, and as I wait, I try to remember how many times I've laughed and cried inside this tiny place. My old room is still the same. Cream-colored walls, light brown wooden floors and furniture, and a double-sized bed in the middle. Small different houseplants sit by the window, and on the wall hangs a huge frame photo of me and my Aunt Mary. I get up and quickly tie my hair in a bun before heading to the kitchen. There, I see my aunt cooking slices of bacon and eggs, and on the counter, a pot of coffee is brewing. It's good to be back home. Good morning, sleepyhead. Aunt Mary is in her middle 40s. She loves to cook and bake. With a small coffee shop to run, my aunt is always on the move. Good morning, Aunt Mary. That smells good. I'm famished. Why don't you take a seat, honey? This is almost ready. I take a seat at the nearest chair and wait as my aunt serves me 3 slices of bacon, some scrambled eggs, and toast, coupled with freshly brewed coffee. I immediately start to eat, and in the corner of my eye, I see my aunt smile. Slow down, Lillian, she tells me. Did you sleep well? She asks as she takes a bite of her toast. Not really, I reply. But don't worry, I'll help at the coffee shop today. I get myself another serving of scrambled eggs. Oh, you don't have to if you don't want to, Lillian. Aunt Mary waves her hand in dismissal and gestures for me to eat more. No, I really do want to help out today. It will take my mind off things. What things? I haven't told her about the recent job offer I got from Casper Lux, and I don't plan on telling her. What's the point? My aunt would just find it indecent. All right then, my aunt declares. Once you're done, just go downstairs. We've got work to do. After washing the dishes, I go back to my room to freshen up. I look for my old uniform, glad that it still fits, and head to our coffee shop, which is conveniently located on the floor below. Aunt Mary's already served some customers by the time I clock in. I immediately walk to the counter, read the order list, and start waiting on the other tables. I see my aunt go back to the kitchen as I serve coffee to an old couple. The man starts drinking his coffee, while his wife continues to read the newspaper. She looks up at me as I set her cup down in front of her. You look even prettier in person, the lady tells me. Then she goes back to reading. Thanks. I turn my back to them and go back to the counter to collect more orders. Okay, Lillian. That was weird. What was that about? At a table by the corner of the shop, 3 college girls can't stop looking at me while whispering to each other. They're holding their phones, seemingly comparing me to something on their screens. As I walk around serving different tables, I can't help but notice the heads turning my way. I don't even realize that the small television that's mounted on the wall is on until one customer asks me to turn its volume up. "Sure," I tell the customer. "Just a moment." I look for the remote control, and as I turn the volume up, I see 2 familiar faces on the screen. What? It's a photo of Casper handing me flowers at the coffee shop. As if that isn't enough, the headline almost makes me faint. Casper Lux's newest bae. Budding actress, Lillian Sparks. Now I understand why everyone's staring. Holy crap. Aunt Mary's eyes are glued to the television, her mouth agape. I clumsily go to the kitchen to avoid the customer's prying eyes, but my aunt follows me. She catches me by the arm, and as I turn to face her, I see how confused she looks. "It's not what it looks like," I tell her defensively. "Mr. Lux offered me a role in his movie, but I turned it down. Unreasonable talent fee and all." "Then why are they calling you his newest bae?" She pauses, then adds, "Whatever that is." "You know how the paparazzi can get, Aunt Mary," I say. I try to sound confident, but I can feel my hands shaking. I'm not used to lying, and I hate doing it. Fortunately, my aunt is not a pushy person, and she just drops it. I know that she's just waiting for me to tell her the truth in my own time. "Okay, I believe you, but you know that you can tell me anything, right?" Aunt Mary has the kindest eyes. Lying while looking straight into them doesn't feel right. Aunt Mary doesn't wait for my response and leaves to cater to customers. I decide to get something to drink from the refrigerator when my phone suddenly vibrates. I look at the screen and see Sam's name. After reading his message, all I can do is rub my eyes in disbelief. "Honey, Mr. Playboy is looking for you. Casper Lux is in New York right now, heading your way."
Chapter 8. Casper. I look outside the window of the plane and stare at the sea of clouds. New York's not exactly my favorite city. If I remember correctly, I've been there more or less around 5 times. Everything's business-related. I fly in, finish everything that's needed, then fly out. As the plane descends, I think about how I might convince Lillian to accept the offer. I haven't exactly made a plan for this, but I guess I'll just wing it for the meantime. I exit the airport and take a cab that will take me to my hotel. It's almost midnight, but the city is still bustling with people everywhere. It's really the city that doesn't sleep. I try to stifle my yawn, but I fail. The impulsive part of me made me go on this trip. Earlier, I contacted Lillian's manager, Sam, to see if he could help me convince Lillian to agree to our acting job. "Hi, Sam. This is Casper Lux. I think you know why I'm calling you." "Yes, Casper. This is about Lillian, isn't it?" "Correct. I want her to play the part of my fiancée. She's perfect for it. Maybe you can help me convince her," I suggest. "Believe me when I say that I've already exhausted all means to try and make her accept this project. We've talked multiple times. But Lillian's firm with her decision, and I can't change her mind," Sam explains. He continues, "Plus, she already left for New York this morning. I don't think she's coming back anytime soon." My phone almost slips from my hands. "What do you mean?" "Well, she thinks her luck has run out here. She's been trying for several years but hasn't landed any roles. She's given up on acting for now." I can hear the sadness in Sam's voice and can't help but imagine Lillian sounding the same way. "I can help her only if she agrees to my terms," I tell Sam. "Tell me where she is exactly. I'll do everything I can to make her come back." Sam hesitates before finally responding. "Make sure you make a star out of her, or I'll haunt you forever. Get a pen and write this down." I type the address he gives me on my phone. Before he hangs up, I hear him mumble to himself, "Lillian's gonna kill me for this." I jump on the last plane to New York City, and I go straight to bed after checking in last night. Now my batteries have recharged. I take a quick shower to wake up my senses, then I go down to the hotel restaurant to have my breakfast. I look at the piece of paper where I've written down Lillian's address. Using the Maps application on my phone, I input the address and see that the fastest way to get there is by car. I finish my coffee and sandwich, then I go outside to hail a cab. I give the address to the cab driver and off we go. Slowly the scenery changes and I realize that we're in a part of New York that miraculously isn't crowded. The cab slows down and points me towards the small coffee shop. The sign reads, "Drippin' Dreams." Yes, this is it. I pay the cab driver and give him a substantial tip for taking me here. I alight from the vehicle and notice that the cafe is near an old park. I push the door open and the chimes ring, and the smell of freshly brewed coffee greets me. There's a counter with a small display case housing some pastries. It's just a small shop, so I immediately spot Lillian serving one of their customers. She's on her way back to the counter when I step in front of her. She looks at me as if she's expecting me. Sam must have told her I was coming. "Good morning, Lillian. I'm here to talk with you, please. Let me know when you're free. I'll just wait by that table." She glares at me with contempt. If her eyes had laser beams, I'd be dead by now. "I'm busy. I don't have the luxury of time to talk to you anytime soon." Lillian walks past me and disappears to what I assume is the kitchen. An elderly lady notices the commotion. I give her a small smile as she walks to my table. I introduce myself to her, and she says that she's familiar with me as she's seen me on TV. She introduces herself as Lillian's aunt, Mary. She then gets to the point and asks why I'm here. I tell her that I want to talk to Lillian and convince her to accept the role that I'm offering her. She looks at me for a while, assessing if I'm telling her the truth. Aunt Mary seems persuaded. "I'll see what I can do," she tells me. She then follows Lillian inside. After a few minutes, Lillian approaches me and tells me to come upstairs with her so that we can talk. We enter the second floor of the coffee shop, which is their home. Lillian tells me to sit down on one of the chairs. "I'm giving you 15 minutes to tell me why you're here," she says. "As I've told you before, I see a lot of great talent in you, Lillian. I want to recruit you, not for the initial role of being my fiancée, but this time for a role in my upcoming project. You're perfect for it." She narrows her eyes and looks me up and down. "Why should I believe you when our faces are plastered all over the news?" "That's my fault, and I truly apologize for that," I tell her. "I'm not afraid to take full responsibility for what happened." I explain. "I assumed you'd agree to our earlier offer, which is why I leaked our meeting to the paparazzi. Don't worry, I assure you that everything will be gone by tomorrow." Lillian sighs deeply. She looks defeated. "I've already accepted the fact that I'm not actress material, at least not by Hollywood standards. I've already wasted 3 years of my life chasing after an elusive dream, and it's time to let it go," she says. She starts to walk away from me, but she turns back to say one last thing. "Go home, Casper. There's nothing for you here. You know your way out." She then heads downstairs, leaving me with my thoughts. I step outside the cafe and go back to my hotel room. Today might not have been a success, but this isn't the last she'll see of me. I'll keep coming back, and I won't stop until I make her say yes. I see a star in her. She's an unpolished diamond, and I'm going to make her shine.
Chapter 9. Lillian. I lie wide awake in bed, seriously contemplating yesterday's events. As I try to remember the conversation I had with Casper, my eyes focus on the stain that ruins my ceiling. Funny, I've never noticed that before. There really is no limit to Casper Lux's audacity. First, he offered me the role of pretending to be his real-life fiancé, but I turned it down. Then he flew all the way to New York to try to convince me to accept his offer yet again. He even told me that he'd give me a role in one of his movies. Of course, I declined once more, telling him that I prefer to get a role because I deserve it, and not because it's given to me. I'm not that cheap. Never in a million years would I accept a kind of job like that? It's already 6:30, and it's time to get ready for work, but I feel exhausted for some reason. I just want to sleep the whole day. I close my eyes, but then Casper's face pops up in my mind. I sit up straight, pissed that I'm already thinking about him this early, and then tilt my head back to put my hair up in a ponytail. The stain on the ceiling catches my attention again, and I let out a soft sigh. I need to do something about that. But first, I need a strong cup of coffee to clear my head. After having some coffee, I slowly go down the stairs to the shop. I don't feel like serving tables today, but I have to. I wouldn't want Aunt Mary to handle the breakfast rush alone. "You're late," my aunt points out. "Sorry, Aunt Mary." "Are you sick?" Aunt Mary asks. "Well, no," I reply hesitantly. "Not really." "Are you sure you're okay? You can rest if you want to." I think about taking a day off, but decide against it. I don't want to leave my aunt here doing all the work. She needs all the help she can get. Once Aunt Mary is satisfied that I'm not sick, she goes back to the kitchen and continues cooking. I then proceed to take our customers' orders. It sure is a busy day. People continue to flock the coffee shop. Even though our shop is small, we have loyal customers who never miss a day to eat here. That's one of the things I love most about this place. As I continue working, a conspicuous red car starts parking outside. Now, who could that be, Lillian? It isn't long before my question is answered. As if moving in slow motion, Casper Lux comes out of the vehicle wearing a black shirt and boots, dark denim pants, and a gray fedora. As soon as he steps inside the shop, everyone turns to look at him. You have got to be kidding me. Some of the customers immediately recognize him and ask for an autograph. He agrees, although he politely makes it clear that he doesn't want his photograph taken. Some people have no idea who he is, but that doesn't stop them from gawking at him. I can't blame them. It's not every day that we get to see a pretty face around here, especially like his. He looks so damn good. He walks towards my direction, and I immediately tell him to leave. I can't entertain him. Casper just nods, passes by me, and goes straight to my aunt, who just got out of the kitchen. "Good morning, Mary," he chirps. "Why, good morning, Mr. Lux," answers my aunt, who is just as surprised as I am. "What brings you here?" "Please, Mary, call me Casper." I can't help but roll my eyes. I remember the first time we met, when he offered me the role of playing his pretend fiancé. Call me Casper. "Lillian, honey," my aunt calls out. "Look who's here." Yes, Aunt Mary, I can see that. I look directly at Casper and raise an eyebrow before adding, "He's here again." Now, be a darling and see what he needs. I'll just attend to our customers." Aunt Mary goes to a table where a customer is asking for some napkins. Before I can even talk to Casper, he walks to another table and starts taking orders. What the hell is he trying to do? As soon as he's done, I immediately confront him. I don't have time for this right now. The shop is almost full of people, and we are understaffed. "What do you think you're doing, Casper?" I hiss at him. Out of customers' earshot, of course. "Can't you see how busy we are?" "I know." He smiles. "That's why I'm here to help. It'll give us some time to talk to each other." "What do you even know about waiting tables anyway?" I try saying gently, even though on the inside I'm already boiling. Believe it or not, I used to work as a waiter before becoming a director. Trust me, Lillian, I know a lot about waiting tables. "A former waiter who now drives a Cadillac XT5? I sarcastically ask as I look out the window to where his car is parked. "I just rented that," he replies innocently. Oh my God. I can't even finish my sentence. "You are so sweet, mister," one customer points out. "You must be so in love with her for you to come here and help her." "Oh, no, we're not," I try to say, but a lady cuts me off. "Just let the poor guy help you, Lillian. I can't remember her name, but the nosy lady's a regular here. The customers continue to tease me and praise Casper for being so sweet, and I hate it. But I have to admit that he does seem to know what he's doing. Maybe he really used to work as a waiter years ago. Defeated, I just proceed to do my tasks. As I mind my own business, however, I can't help but glance at Casper. He makes serving tables look so hot. Even if he's already sweaty, he probably still smells so good. What's wrong with you, Lillian? I know the likes of him. I must steer clear of men like Casper Lux. Still, as much as I want to ignore him, I can't. He smiles at me whenever our eyes meet, and even though I match his smile with a sour face, he keeps doing it. What a playboy. I think I'm starting to like him, but I'm pretty sure this won't end well.
You think you can catch me? You think you can tame me?
Oh, I know I can. And you know it too, baby.
I gotta tell you, you're not the first to try.
But don't worry, baby. I'll be the last.
With sass like that, maybe I'll be the one that needs to tame you.
Let's cut to the chase, big boy. What you selling me?
Your appetite is big AF. I have just the thing that'll satisfy you.
Oh, really? And what's that?
Over 120 hours of romance audiobooks. Brought to you by Tyler Walker Romances in the Big AF Audio Bundle.
120 hours? That sounds amazing.
Your knees won't work afterwards if I do my job right.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
Well, I can keep this promise. Because these audiobooks are unabridged with all the spicy scenes that will make you put your earbuds on. You know, Tyler can get freaky because she marked the bundle down by 69% for a limited time.
I can't wait to take this bundle for a ride.
Visit tylerwalker.com and get this audio bundle. Just don't start listening if you're going to be cooking dinner. Because you might just forget to feed your family.
TylerWalker.com. Escape your life with Tyler.
Chapter 10. Casper. Frankly speaking, I don't know why I'm doing this. All I know is that I want to spend time with Lillian, so that I can try and convince her to agree to my proposition. It's a good thing that Aunt Mary seems to be on my side. That means I can spend even more time around Lillian at the coffee shop, and I do enjoy the work. Even though Lillian seems to hate my guts, she can't do anything about it, because Aunt Mary likes having me there. Today's my third day at the coffee shop, taking orders from customers, being a barista, clearing out tables, and even washing the dishes. Honestly, I love what I'm doing right now. I miss this kind of simple, hard-working life. A job like this provides an employee with the means to live their life, without any complicated situations. I've had enough of complicated situations, but I can't say I've had enough of seeing Lillian. The more I look at her, the more beautiful and attractive she becomes in my eyes. She's got this rare, hidden beauty that slowly grows on you. Not only do I find her physical features beautiful, but I'm also drawn to her character. She's got values, morals, and dignity. People like her are real gems. Nowadays, it's hard to find someone who doesn't believe in using shortcuts. Lillian wants to work for the future she wants. She doesn't want to rely on favors or lucky chances, not even if they're from me. The creative side of me sees her as an unpolished diamond, and I want to be the one that makes her shine. She'll be my one and only muse. In fact, she already is. I need to see her every day, and it's driving me crazy. I wipe our last customer's table until it's spotless. It isn't the end of the day yet, but there are times when the shop is empty and we can take a breather. Lillian is upstairs taking care of something. Aunt Mary comes over and brings me a glass of lemonade. "Why don't you take a break?" she asks me. "Sit down for a moment. I want to get to know you more." I accept her invitation. "So, Lillian tells me that you're a famous director and you want her to work for you. But why was it in the news a few days ago that you're dating her?" she asks. I take a sip from my glass as I compose the answer in my head. "That's just a misunderstanding. You know how rabid some of the paparazzi can be. To answer your question, yes, I'm offering Lillian a role in my latest project." Aunt Mary looks at me like she's trying to assess my response. "So you don't like her? In a Romantic way, I mean. Does she want me to? I would love to have her as one of my stars, I explained to Auntie Mary. And I'd like to be her friend too, but that's it. She nods her head. The chimes sound, and the door opens. An elderly man enters the coffee shop, sits at a table, and asks for the menu. It's time to get back to work. We're so busy the rest of the day, we barely have time to take breaks. It's a good kind of busy. This means that Aunt Mary and Lillian's business is thriving. As much as Lillian doesn't want me around, she can't deny that the extra pair of hands that I offer is a big help, especially when there's a surge of customers. Surely I'll be back tomorrow. When I head back to the hotel, I immediately take a shower. I haven't felt this well worked in a very long time. Afterwards, I dial room service for dinner. While waiting for the food, I think about what Aunt Mary asked me earlier. So you don't like her? In a romantic way, I mean. Her voice still echoes in my head. Of course, I like Lillian, but whatever I feel for her isn't for the long haul. Having a serious relationship with women isn't in my vocabulary. I don't have the time and energy to invest in a romantic relationship. I engage with the casual flings and one-night stands, and that's about it. In short, I just want to have fun. Food arrives, and I start eating. Physical work is indeed tiring and burns most of my energy for the day. As I prepare to take a bite out of my burger, my mobile phone rings. After such a long day, I'd really appreciate not being disturbed. I contemplate letting it go to voicemail until I notice my grandmother's name flashing on the screen. Quickly, I wipe my fingers on a napkin and answer the call. Hi, Grandma. How are you? Hello, dear. I'm good, Grandma Lucia answers. Congratulations. Congratulations? For what? Did I miss something while I've been away? I'm not so sure what you're talking about, Grandma. Your engagement, of course. At long last, I've waited for this moment. I always knew you were just waiting for the right one to come along. I'm in total shock. A lot of questions run through my mind. My first instinct is to deny it and tell her that the news the other day was just a misunderstanding. But she sounds so happy for me. I don't have the heart to break her heart. Thank you, I reply. That's all I managed to say. Well, now that you're in New York, you should come down to the house and visit me, she says. I haven't seen you in a long time. After a short pause, Grandma Lucia adds, make sure that you bring your fiancé along with you. Wait, Grandma, how did you know I'm currently in New York? One of my friends saw you serving at a coffee shop with your fiancé. I think that's really nice of you, she explains. I'm at a loss for words. We continue our little chit-chat, but inside I'm already panicking. Casper, what now?
Chapter 11. Lillian. When will this torment end? Casper is smiling outside the coffee shop as he taps on the window while I serve the first customers of the day. 2 adolescent schoolgirls who decided to skip class and enjoy a cup of coffee. Oh my God, Shirley, squeals the blonde to her red-headed classmate. There he is. I told you he'd be here. Shirley, a bit on the chunky side, almost spits out the mocha latte when she sees Casper beside her with only 4 inches of glass separating them, even though he's actually staring at me. Don't look. We don't want him to think that we're not cool and all, Shirley. As soon as Casper taps on the glass and winks my way, they both lose composure and scream at the top of their lungs, gushing like teenage girls swooning over boy bands. Unfortunately, Blondie knocks her coffee off the table, spilling the hot liquid all over the freshly cleaned floor. Oh my God, aren't you going to clean that up? She commands me with a raised brow. I grab a mop and frustratingly wipe the mess with gusto. There you are. Casper greets me as he finally walks in the front door with arms wide open. I throw the mop handle aside onto Blondie's face as she sits there staring at Casper in awe. She complains until she sees me hug Casper. Well, this is a nice surprise, Casper comments. Just play with it, or I'll throw you out of the shop right now. I whisper. I missed you too, hubby. Shall we? I nod to Aunt Mary, who nods back as Casper and I leave the front door, just to circle back into the back door of the shop. What was that all about, Lillian? Casper asks. Oh, nothing. Just wanted to piss off some entitled brats. Now, what did you want to talk about? I ask as I grab chairs for Casper and myself as we sit next to the kitchen table. Really? That was all an act? I am amazed, Lillian, he says with a large grin on his face. Who knew that all you needed was a tinge of anger to get your acting motor running? He teases me. But I digress. I come here to ask you for a favor. I told you, Casper. No, I ain't gonna be your faux fiancé. Casper suddenly beams over me with the same aura of a 4-week-old puppy, eyes and all. Hear me out first, he insists. You see, I was actually about to give up on this whole thing, but then Grandma suddenly calls me and congratulates me for finally settling down. She saw me helping with the shop yesterday, he explains. But I still can't tell where this is going. He continues, I don't have the heart to break a septuagenarian's heart, so I had to continue to lie, Lillian. Now, she's expecting me to introduce you to her soon. You sad, lying piece of... Casper suddenly holds my hand, catching me off guard with the warmth and size of them. I know I don't have the right, Lillian, but can we at least just go and see her? Just to make her happy? I don't think she can handle news of my broken faux engagement. My teeth grind as I listen to the story. And then what, Casper? I ask him. We just keep up the act until you Grandma passes away? Not technically, we just meet her. Then somewhere along the line, we create a random reason we need to break up and tell her. So a lie on top of a lie? Casper, we can't go on like this. We shouldn't lie, especially to people dear to us like your grandma. Casper gets off his chair and stands in front of me with hope in his eyes. Well, maybe both of us can explain the crux of the situation to her together. Why do I even need to meet her, Casper? You know how grandmas are. She wants me to be happy, and I want her to be happy. I've disappointed her long enough, Lillian. The solemn words resonate in my ear. There was nothing but the truth in his response. Fine. When are we going to meet her? In about 20 minutes. The car's running outside, actually. I'm never going to get used to the nerve of these Hollywood big shots. 20 minutes on the dot, we arrive at the villa where Casper's grandmother lives. We walk inside what is probably the most enormous mansion that I will ever see in my life. A middle-aged woman wearing stunning jewelry greets us. Aunt Sarah. Casper greets her as they embrace each other. It's been so long. You look fabulous as always. Sarah doesn't look pleased, though, and replies coldly. Casper, is this one of your bimbos again? Aunt Sarah, I apologize. This wonderful lady is my fiancée, Lillian Sparks. Lillian, meet my Aunt Sarah. It's good to finally meet you. I stammer from Aunt Sarah's intense gaze. She doesn't reply, but instead walks towards the back of the mansion, leading us to the garden where a white-haired woman sits on a bench admiring the flowers. Lucia, your guests have arrived, Sarah announces. Lucia turns ever so slowly towards us and showers us with the warmest smile that I've ever seen. Casper immediately goes over to her and gives her a big hug. I have to control myself to make sure I don't look surprised that Casper is actually showing love and respect to her. He's apparently not the playboy director that I pegged him to be. And is this her? Lucia asks Casper, who replies with a nod. Oh, such a beauty, Casper. My great-grandchildren will grow up to be beautiful men and women. Casper groans, Grandma? Oh, hush, child. It's why people get married, Lucia replies, to ensure that the goodness in us gets passed along. She looks at me and gestures for me to come closer. Come here, Lillian, was it? Welcome to the family. I cannot wait for the wedding. I walk over and hug Lucia as best I can. but my mind is screaming for me to tell her the truth. For some reason, the words won't come out of my mouth. Looking at her reminds me of Aunt Mary, and God knows I'd do anything to see her smile. I can't break a septuagenarian's heart either, apparently.
Chapter 12. Casper. You're staying until dinner. I'm not taking no for an answer, and that's final, Grandma Lucia tells us with an authoritative voice. I look at Lillian, and she simply shrugs in response. Your Aunt Sarah's already cooked the meal for all of us. She even cooked your favorite shepherd's pie, Grandma adds. There's no way to get out of this one. Lillian smiles lovingly at Grandma and holds her hand. Of course we're staying. Aren't we, dear? She looks at me pointedly. Yes, Lillian's correct. Whatever makes you happy, Grandma Lucia. Grandma claps her hands together in delight. She instructs Aunt Sarah to go on and prepare the table and the rest of the food. Lillian volunteers to help her, but Grandma won't let her out of her sight. No, you're our guest, so you'll just stay here with me. Come, let's go to the living room, Grandma instructs her. I'll show you something while we're waiting. Lillian stands up and moves towards Grandma to help her up. Arm in arm, they walk towards the living room. I, on the other hand, am going to keep myself busy helping Aunt Sarah set up the table. The aroma of the food wafting from the oven makes me salivate. It's a good thing we decided to stay and eat here. You seem very happy, I can see it in your eyes, Aunt Sarah says. I just nod in response. You know there's nothing in the world she wants more than your happiness. She probably wants you to get married really soon and have lots of babies while she's still strong. I swallow a lump in my throat. Marriage and kids already? Isn't it all a bit too fast? By the way, I haven't seen a ring on Lillian's finger. Haven't you got her one? When are you planning to have the ceremony? She asks me. My mind scrambles to think of an acceptable answer. I'm still searching for the perfect ring to suit her. I want it to be unique, I explain. That sounds believable. As for the date, I tell Aunt Sarah. We haven't talked about it yet, but don't worry. I'll make sure that you and Grandma will be there. Front row seats. We're almost finished setting up the table when I hear laughter emanating from the living room. It's Lillian's. I enter the room and see both ladies huddled over something. My eyes widen as I realize what they're looking at. Grandma! I shout in protest. They're startled by my voice and quickly close what they're holding. They look like children who've been caught stealing cookies from the cookie jar. Why are you showing Lillian my baby pictures? They're embarrassing. That's nonsense. Grandma dismisses me. I pout at them. Lillian goes up to me and pinches my cheek. Grandma's right. You were adorable as a baby, especially in photos where you were wearing a sailor costume. They laugh at the same time. It's wonderful seeing them like this, even at the expense of my dignity. I can see that Lillian truly enjoys spending time with Grandma, and I appreciate that. Aunt Sarah calls out to us from the kitchen. Dinner's ready. Can I excuse myself for a moment? I need to use the restroom, Lillian says. Certainly, dear. Head to the hallway and it's the second door to your left, Grandma instructs. When Lillian leaves, I prepare to escort Grandma out of the room, but she stops me. While Lillian's not here, I have something for you, she whispers. Open the drawer under the bookcase, please. Get the box inside. I carefully follow her instructions and get a small black box inside the drawer. I bring it back to her. Open it, she instructs me. I would do anything for Grandma Lucia, so I rarely question what she tells me to do. Upon opening the box, I see a ring of astounding beauty. I've never seen anything like it. That's the ring that your grandfather gave me when he proposed to me, Grandma says, her eyes misty with tears. It's yours now. I've been saving that for you. I prayed that you'd find the girl for you one day, and the time's finally come. Give that to Lillian and propose properly. Now I'm really screwed. I will, Grandma, I assure her. We walk into the dining room together, and Grandma sits at the head of the table. I sit on her right, and she makes Lillian sit on her left. Aunt Sarah says grace, and then we start passing the food around. Aside from my favorite shepherd's pie, we also have roasted chicken, vegetable skewers, and a decadent chocolate mousse for dessert. We enjoy exchanging stories, which were mostly about me, while we eat our meal. Once we're done, we clean up the dining table in the kitchen, and then we let Grandma retire before we leave. Lillian and I promise her that we'll take the time to visit her again soon. Aunt Sarah walks us out the door. At this time of the night, I tell Lillian as I look at my watch, there are still way too many cars on the road. Why don't we let some time pass? There's a nearby park we can go to. Lillian agrees. We walk beside each other in companionable silence, taking in the cool, crisp air of the evening. Thank you for doing this, Lillian. You made my grandma very happy today. I owe you one. She shakes her head. Don't mention it, she says. I didn't want to hurt her. You guys seem close. I spent most of my childhood with her. My parents were too busy with work, so they'd always leave me with Grandma Lucia, I explain. That's Aunt Mary to me, Lillian says. She took me in when my parents died. I owe her a lot. The moon shines above us and the stars twinkle as we walk. We chance upon a bench and sit down. We talk into the night, every second a chance to get to know each other a little better than before.
Chapter 13. Lillian. The hot water runs out and I shiver under the cold, quickly trying to get out of the shower with my trembling hands wrapping a towel around me. How long was I just standing there? I think to myself. I change into an old loose shirt and shorts, climb into bed, and bury myself under my blanket. After tossing and turning for what seems like an hour, I start accepting the fact that I can't sleep. Not this again, Lillian. Please. I'm so sick of not being able to sleep. This is all Casper's fault. Why did he have to take me to see his grandmother? Lucia seemed so sweet. I don't think I have the heart to hurt his family. Stupid. 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 I flail around the bed, punching my pillows in despair. I hate Casper. I hate how he's so persistent. The guy can probably get any girl in Hollywood to do what he wants. The place is infested with naive girls, dumb blondes who dream of becoming the next big thing. They'd be at his every beck and call, and yet he chose me. I mean, I get it. I'm smart. I'm undeniably sexy, and as I've been told by Sam so many times, I could get ahead if only I knew how to play the showbiz game. Unfortunately, that bastard Casper just can't take a hint. I will not be paid to act as his fiancée. That's done. And over with. Who would even want to act as his fiancée? Nobody would believe the act anyway. Not the press, not the people, not me. Well, I could take the job, but what about his gig as a notorious playboy? I don't have the answer to my own question. What I do know is that I've seen someone who was sweet, kind, and thoughtful. Casper's also attractive. Let's not forget about that. Oh God, that face looks like it was sculpted by the gods themselves. He is a god in that respect. I still remember the way I was practically drooling over him the first time I saw him. Jesus Christ, do you think he noticed you drooling all over him? How embarrassing. Well, who cares anyway? Out of all those bimbos in the room, especially that blonde one with the big boobs whose name I forgot, he chose me for the job. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. He chose me, I think to myself again and again. He chose me. He chose me. I feel the butterflies in my stomach. And just like that, I'm back to where I started. I realize what my problem is. I'm falling for Casper Lux. I'm falling hard. I wake up the next morning not knowing what time I finally fell asleep. My head is pounding like crazy. I don't think I've gotten enough rest. I go to the coffee shop like I would on a normal day, as if I wasn't having an existential crisis just last night. A few minutes after opening, Casper walks into the shop. probably to bother me again, I think. Not today, Casper. I groan from behind the register. I'm not in the mood. He twists his lips as if to give a smile. I was just coming by to tell you that I'm leaving this morning. My flight's in a couple of hours. I stop pressing random keys and meet his eyes. They're red and puffy, as if he hadn't slept a wink. He plays with the hair on top of his head, surprisingly not greasy, shiny, and slicked back with a ton of product. I can't stay long, he explains. I still have to work. Ricky's already been calling me nonstop, asking when I'll be back. I wait for him to say something more, too surprised to do it myself, but he doesn't, not even after a full minute of us just staring at each other. Finally, I'm able to speak. Okay then, take care. You too, he mumbles. On his way out, Casper turns around and walks back towards me. Hey, listen, he pauses as if thinking of the right words to say. What do you plan to do now? I don't know, I admit. Stay here, I guess. Right, well, you can always come back to LA and work for me if you want. He chuckles. I'm always open for you. What about Lucia? I'll explain everything myself. Probably tell her that we've had our differences and call it an official breakup a month from now. Casper smiles at me. I smile back. Okay. He leaves without another word. Just like that, Casper is out of my hair and out of my life, at least for a while. I spend the rest of the morning out of it, messing up orders and having to constantly apologize to customers. Aunt Mary even manages to pull me away from a screaming customer when I forgot to use soy milk for her latte. What is up with you, Lillian? She asks. I'm sorry, I'm probably just distracted. Why don't you go home for today? I'm fine, Aunt Mary, I swear I'll... No, take the day off, she says, already pushing me out the door. With no energy to argue, I head back upstairs and try to distract myself for the rest of the afternoon. I quickly realize that no amount of channel surfing or page turning works. When evening comes, I make myself some pasta that I barely even finish. I want to scream. What is wrong with me? Why am I so obsessed with this? Maybe everyone else around me is right. Being a star is my dream. I can't just expect myself to walk away from that so easily. There's also the added incentive of Casper. That does it, I think to myself. I march myself to my room and start packing my bags. According to the American Airlines website, there's an available flight to Las Vegas in the morning. I book my one-way ticket. No turning back now. I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyler.
This isn't just any fake marriage, now is it?
No, you introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl, Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand...
Beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyler. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage, happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Because where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less I Love You. Tuesdays and Thursdays. New seasons premiere every month. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylerWalker.com. Treat yourself with Miss Tyler.
Chapter 14. Casper. I barely have time to rest when Ricky calls me the moment I'm out of the airport. Hurry up and get to the office, he orders. Can I have lunch first? I ask as I look at my watch. It's 12:30 and my stomach is growling at me. I really should have had breakfast this morning. Just go grab a coffee or something. Be here in 10, he says, dropping the call before I even have time to bargain for 20 minutes. Luckily, I brought almost nothing to New York, except for a single duffel bag small enough to carry around. I call for a taxi and have it take me directly to the downtown office, passing through the nearest in-and-out drive-thru we see. I get a cheeseburger with French fries and a Coke for myself, and a chocolate milkshake for Ricky. Actually, make that 2 milkshakes, I say to the microphone. Mario is bound to be there. Better get him something too. When we arrive at the studio, I make my way down to the office where Ricky greets me with open arms. Buddy, amigo. He hugs me tightly, then proceeds to punch my arm. Never run away like that again. So stupid. Ricky, I didn't run away. You knew exactly where I was. I sigh as I plop myself down on the couch in the corner of the room and proceed to eat my cheeseburger. Here, chill. I hand him a milkshake and the other to Mario, sitting quietly across from me. Vanilla. Chocolate. It'll do, he says, already sipping from the straw. So, what's so important that I had to drag myself right over? You know, I could have gotten the day off, right? I'm so tired. No days off, not when we have to figure out what to do next for damage control. What's there to control? I don't see any damage. I try to change the subject. With Lillian not on board, he mumbles to himself, clearly not paying attention to me. We're going to have to find a new girl. Ricky, I say before swallowing the handful of fries in my mouth, I'm not interested in that anymore. But we have to get you in a relationship again for the press. Not interested, I tell him. I finish up the rest of my burger in one bite and slurp down my Coke, shaking through the ice. I then lean back with my feet up on the couch. Besides, the movie will speak for itself. Trust me, Ricky, it's gonna be great. I have no doubts about that, Casper. What I'm worried about is how you're going to direct a movie in the first place without a star. What do you mean? Oh, you're hopeless. You know that, right? He sits down in his chair and swivels it around. Natalie left, he continues. Something about lacking faith in the production since she's heard about so many investors pulling out. I feel my heart sink to my chest, but I try not to let Ricky notice. He won't anyway, being he's so busy texting who knows who on his phone. Don't worry, I have the press under control about this, he tells me, but we're gonna have to remedy it fast. She wasn't good either way, I scoff. Only got the part because some big shot investor pulled her in. And also because she has 4 Oscar nominations under her belt. But that doesn't matter now because neither she nor the investor is interested in this movie anymore. He's right. I try my best not to seem flustered. With Ricky, it's always about letting him take some of the steam off. He'll cool down by himself in a short while. So, when's the next audition? I ask almost indifferently. Ricky sighs and looks over at Mario, who replies, This weekend. Great. I stand up and brush the crumbs off my shirt. I'll be there. Now, if you boys don't mind, I'll be taking the day off. I walk out and give Ricky one last smile with a teasing thumbs up. He rolls his eyes as I close the door behind me. When the day of the audition comes, I take my seat behind the long desk and sit through hours and hours of girls, all of whom I cross off the list, much to Ricky's annoyance. Casper, we've been through at least 50 girls today. If you ask me, the last one would have been great for the role. They all bring nothing new, nothing exciting, I tell him, biting the cap of my pen. At this rate, we'll be going through our list in no time. Do you have any idea how much time I spent whittling this down to the best choices already? How many do we have left? Around 30. Bring the next one in, then. The production assistant shouts out a name that brings me to my feet. I look up at the door to see a familiar figure. Wearing a simple purple sweater and black leggings, and her curly hair in a loose ponytail, Lillian walks in the door with a nervous smile on her face. Is this real, or are my eyes deceiving me? Hi, I say softly while sitting down, trying my best not to look too flustered. I'm here to audition, she says to the group behind the table, which is really just me, Ricky, and Mario. I take it you're already familiar with the role? Ricky asks. Yes, an FBI agent who finally gets enlisted in leading a task force to break down a notorious drug cartel. She spent years following orders in smaller teams, doing the best she can at her job. She turns to look at me. She just wants her shot, to show what she's capable of. Whenever you're ready, Ricky instructs. Lillian throws her copy of the script to the side. She starts to give a version of the climactic confrontation between the FBI agent and her boss in a way none of the other girls acted out. She ends her monologue, sending chills down my spine. You just want me to nail some low-level drug mule so you can check the box on your resume that says you got a real cartel down. But the truth is, you don't care about what we're doing here. This is people's lives at stake. You're out of your mind, I subconsciously mouth along to the chief's next line in the script. Ricky looks at me with knitted eyebrows as I stand up and clear my throat. It's perfect, Lillian. You're the one we've been looking for.
Chapter 15. Lillian. I can't believe I did it. I actually got the part. It's perfect, Lillian. You're the one we've been looking for. Casper's voice is still ringing in my ears. I exit the audition room while they discuss something. The smile can't leave my face as I feel like I'm walking on clouds. So, Lillian, this is how it feels to get your big break. One of the production assistants announces that the auditions are now closed, as they've already gotten someone for the role. He thanks everyone for their time as he ushers them towards the exit. I sit in one of the chairs at the corner, ignoring the looks that the other hopefuls are giving me. I'm not going to let anything take away my happiness today. No one's going to dampen my spirit. The last person is out the door and the assistant closes it. He instructs me to wait for a while, as I will be given instructions on what to do next. I thank him. I've got to tell Sam about the good news. He should be ready for this. Excitedly, I dial his number. I hope he's not busy. Sam answers on the third ring. How's the audition going? I've got great news, Sam. I got in. I got the lead female role. I squeal. Congratulations, sweetheart. I knew you had it in you. You deserve it. Thank you for everything, Sam. Thank you for believing in me and not giving up, even though I'd already walked out on you. Don't mention it, he tells me. Enough of the melodrama. We've got work to do. Sam goes into the nitty-gritty of getting a role. The producers will probably contact me so that all of the paperwork can be completed, but you don't need to worry about a thing, he assures me. You know that's why I love you, Sam, I say. Let's set a time so that we can celebrate this success, okay? See you soon. The production assistant comes out and motions for me to come inside the room. I end the call with Sam. We have a brief meeting. They confirm that I got the lead female role and that they'll be working with my manager to iron out all the legalities. The schedule of the shoot and everything else that's related to the movie will also be communicated through Sam. I receive congratulations from everyone again and we shake hands. I stand up, ready to leave, when Casper catches up to me by the door. Lillian, is it okay if we get some coffee? He asks me. I know a place nearby. Not as nice as Aunt Mary's coffee shop, but it'll do. I smile at him. Sure, I'd love that. Great. Let me just say goodbye and gather my things. I'll be out in 5. Casper dashes back inside, and I hear muffled conversation. He comes out with his bag, and we leave the office. The cafe is about a block away. We're both silent as we walk, but out of the corner of my eye, I can see him stealing glances my way. We arrive at the coffee shop. Casper volunteers to get our coffee while I look for a table. I find one near the windows. He comes back with our drinks and a chocolate chip banana muffin. Then he looks at me sheepishly. I got that for you. It looks just like your favorite at your coffee shop. I hope it's as good as the one that Aunt Mary makes. I nod in response. He sits down beside me. I'm surprised that you're back here in Los Angeles, but I'm really glad. How did you find out about the audition? He asks. Of course, it was Sam, my Las Vegas guardian angel. After you left, I tell Casper. I realized that I still wanted to be an actress. Sam had heard about the audition and knew I just had to try out. I look Casper in the eye and ask him, You did choose me because I can act, didn't you? Of course. I see a spark in you which makes you perfect for this role. You just didn't want to believe me, but now you know I'm right. More than getting my first big break, I'm happy that I get to see and work with Casper almost every day. As the days pass, Casper and I become closer and closer. It might not seem like it, but we've got so much in common. This is especially true about work. We have the same dedication and passion for the craft, which is why we make a good team. We put everything we've got into every scene, just so the movie comes out perfect. There's no one else I'd rather bounce off lines with. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's noticed that we make a great team. Though Casper and I also spend time with other cast and crew members, our relationship has become the subject of workplace gossip. We don't deny or confirm anything, even if some people do ask about it. Deep in my heart, I know that I've fallen in love with Casper Lux. It's honestly one of the reasons I've been so motivated to work on set with him. Though I can sense that he's attracted to me, neither of us has made the first move. However, we both silently agreed to continue acting like an engaged couple in front of his grandma Lucia. She was very happy to learn that Casper and I were doing a movie together. In fact, she said she was looking forward to attending the film's opening night with us. Before I know it, 2 months of filming have already passed. Today's the last day of shooting, and it's an emotional scene. So I prepare myself in every possible way. The clapper sounds, and I say my last line. It's a bittersweet moment. And cut, Casper shouts. That's a wrap. Congratulations, everyone. Shouts and cheers erupt from the entire set as Casper and I hold each other in a tight embrace.
Chapter 16. Casper. I've directed numerous films and series, but working on this project is a totally different experience. This film is undoubtedly an important one for me in terms of my career. It'll either make or break me. My favorite part of this whole filmmaking process, however, hasn't been the story, the shooting, or the entire cast and crew. The best part of filming was always Lillian, my lead actress. She's brilliant. The more I see her act, the more I'm convinced that she's meant to be an actress, and that I'm truly attracted to her. That woman is dazzling, so much so that her light blinds me each time she's in front of the camera. She attacks each scene like a professional who's been doing it for years. I see a great future for her in Hollywood. I've never entertained the thought of settling down, but I must admit that I'm madly in love with Lillian. Knowing that I'll be seeing her on set gives me the extra boost of energy that I need to go to work every day. Time indeed passes quickly if you're having fun. I didn't even realize that we've been filming for this long, as the past 2 months just passed by in a flash. Today's our last day of filming, and I'm overjoyed that we're nearing our finished product, but I'm also quite saddened that I'll no longer have a reason to see Lillian every day. I haven't decided on what to do about my feelings for her just yet, but I will do everything in my power to have us work together again. We film the last scene, and the room just about explodes. Everyone erupts in cheers and thunderous applause. Lillian and I even share an embrace amid the celebrations. After we pack up, we all head to a nearby bar and restaurant where we reserved a function room to mark our last day of filming. The room is set up very informally, allowing anyone to sit or stand, mingling with everyone else. A table is lined up with several food items, including finger foods, pasta, and some grilled meats. Drinks, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, are free-flowing. There's a small stage in front, and lots of tables and chairs scattered around. Sam arrives before everyone else and gives Lillian a hug when they see each other. I give him a firm handshake. Thank you, Sam, for allowing us to work with Lillian. Her star will keep shining, I tell you. Sam nods his head. I've always believed in Lillian's talent, he says. She's finally getting the attention that she deserves. I look forward to more deals with you and the production company. But of course, I answer. Let's talk about work some other time. For now, it's time to celebrate. We all get champagne glasses from the waiter who's passing by, and I offer a small toast. To new beginnings and partnerships. Lillian and Sam tap their glasses with mine, and we drink together. Everyone's in high spirits, eating, drinking, dancing, and being merry. It's full of fun, and the night is just starting. After dinner, one of the producers gets a microphone and steps onto the stage. The noise dies down, all of us waiting in anticipation of what's to be announced. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone who worked hard for this project. There are no big or small jobs here. I believe that we work together to achieve this. Everyone claps as the producer speaks, but he isn't finished. I'd like to give special acknowledgement to our director, Casper Lux, and of course, our newest discovery, Lillian Sparks. Lillian and I stand up and acknowledge everyone's praise. It's heartwarming, but the producer still has more to say, so we sit back down. More than that, I'd also like to announce that the company will be giving out bonuses to everyone as an appreciation for a job well done. Congratulations! Shouts and cheers emanate from the crowd in response. We have yet another reason to celebrate. I take this opportunity and get myself up on stage. The mic's handed over to me. Let's give another round of applause to our very generous producers, I say, and the crowd goes wild again. I'm not going to give a long speech, as I know you're itching to party. So thank you, everyone, for making this dream project come true. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I hope that we see each other again in future projects. The party goes on. We play several games, most of which involve drinking alcohol. I'm starting to get a bit drunk, and I notice that Lillian is too. She's already swaying side to side, so it's probably time to go home. I look around and see that Sam is drunk as well. I guess I'm going to be the one driving tonight. I walk towards Lillian and tap her shoulder. She turns to me and loses her balance, but I quickly catch her by the waist. I think it's time to call it a night, I tell her. Come on, I'll drive you home. We say our goodbyes, and I help Lillian into my car. I buckle her up, and then we drive home. She's starting to fall asleep. Upon arriving at her house, I ask her for her keys so I can open the door. I go back to her and carry her inside, as I'm afraid she might hurt herself if I allow her to walk. I go as far as her bedroom. Gently, I put her down on the bed and remove her shoes. I'm in the middle of tucking her into her bed when, all of a sudden, she pulls me down and kisses me on the lips. Surprised, I try to pull away. Lillian, you've got too much alcohol in your system, I warn her. As much as I want you, you need to rest right now. She shakes her head. Casper, I'm not that drunk and I know what I'm doing. I need you. Right now, she insists. She removes her dress and pulls me onto her bed as we start to kiss each other passionately.
Chapter 17. Lillian. I need you, right now. The words just roll out of my mouth, which I hope doesn't reek of alcohol as my tongue deep dives inside Casper's loving mouth. Without warning, my hands have magically disrobed me from the shackles of my clothes. The feeling of Casper's grin as we make out makes me let out a little laugh, but my hands aren't done just yet as I find myself pulling Casper back onto my bed. I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at tylawalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyler would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. I push Casper away. Wait, stop! I cry out. Casper looks at me all befuddled, his face still as handsome as it was the first time I met him. What happened? I'm pretty sure I did everything right. I tuck myself under the bed sheets. This isn't right, Casper. I'm sorry. I was drunk. I took advantage of your kindness and generosity. Thanks for taking me home. As I continue to explain my plea, Casper only smiles and slowly crawls up to me until I can smell his fragrant aftershave. I freeze under the weight of his gaze. Casper simply kisses my forehead. Okay, Lillian, I'll see you tomorrow. God, he's such a sweetie. I say to myself as I get out of bed and open the door for Casper. He lets out a laugh before getting out of bed and picking up his shirt from the floor. Before he can leave, I slam the door in front of him and turn off the lights. You passed, I whisper, as I once again throw myself in his arms. I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at tylerwalker.com.
Miss Tyler has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyler would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. We both drop to the bed exhausted, but I somehow manage to tuck myself under the covers. This way, I can pretend that I won't be hurt if Casper decides to up and leave, much like what he does with his other girls. What I find instead is his arm over me as he struggles to hide under the covers with me. It's a queen-sized bed, isn't it? Casper complains. And I'm a queen, which means it is fully occupied. He makes a show of leaving the bed, but I pull him back into me, laughing ourselves to sleep.
Chapter 18. Casper. Do me now. Yes, more. I love you, Lillian. I wake up screaming with sweat dripping down my body. A fever dream, I think to myself. My hand is still shaking, but the warm light of dawn washes over it and somehow soothes all the pain away. Lillian stirs from her sleep and puts her hand in mine. Casper? What's wrong? She asks as she rubs her gorgeous eyes. I still can't erase the feeling of drowning in her pleasure-filled eyes as we made love last night. I love you, Lillian. I still can't believe I said those words out loud to her. I can't believe she was so good in bed. She could actually make a guy pour out his feelings. It's nothing, Lillian. Just go back to sleep while I make breakfast, I say as I kiss her forehead, but her arms wrap around my neck as I turn to leave. Casper, I know you better than that. You don't need to lie to me. What's wrong? The gods be damned. I've been trying my hardest to be as strong as I can in front of this gorgeous woman, but all this time she hasn't been seeing the strong me. She sees right through me. You're right. Sorry, I just can't shake off the feeling that I've compromised our relation. Whatever this is we have with what I said last night. Her other hand presses on my lips before I can finish explaining to her. Casper, I love you too. I break free from her hand and continue. So, I was saying... She kisses me on the lips and smiles. I said I love you. Don't tell me this handsome head of yours doesn't have the brain to process that. Nothing I can say could top what Lillian just admitted to me, and I've never been happier. With a smile, my lips press onto hers, all moist and even softer than I remembered.
And that's where we're going to put a pause on pleasure.
It Looks like the rest of this chapter is just too naughty to put on the air.
As much as we'd love to share every little detail, we've got to stick to this platform's guidelines to keep these free audiobooks coming.
They've got some rules about what we can show, and we wouldn't want to risk losing the chance to bring you more content.
As frustrating as it is to build the tension only to be interrupted, Miss Tyla always knows how to make it up to you.
You can find the full, uncut scene over at tylawalker.com.
With an entire library of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks, Miss Tyla's collection is waiting for you.
And if you use code SAVE40, you'll get 40% off any digital product, even on bundles that are already discounted.
So don't let the fun stop here. Head over to tylawalker.com and treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
The floor is almost crying as it creaks with every hip thrust. Lillian digs her nails into my abs as she stares at me with the eyes of a predator, and I love every second of it, at least until we hear a knock on the door. Lillian, you're home, I know. Everyone in the apartment knows you home. Lots of complaints about no sleep because of you. I'm here for rent, shouts a man with a heavy Armenian accent. Ah, it's Mr. Aziz, curses Lillian. Sorry about that, Mr. Aziz. I'll have the money tonight. No, tonight. Today. Cousin says you have new movie role now. Big bucks. Pay rent. Lillian picks up the covers off the floor, uses it to cover herself, and opens her front door slightly. She tries to calm Mr. Aziz down, but with her naked butt clearly shown to me.
Chapter 19. Lillian. I'm ecstatic that our movie did very well at the box office. Everything was a huge success, from the premiere night to our regular cinema showings. We've even had some international screenings. We've had several glowing movie reviews from critics, but we've also gotten not-so-great ones. Still, I had a wonderful experience acting in Casper's film. What's unbelievable is that I have a fan base now. Though I was once a nobody, I've quickly turned into a star. Now, everyone seems to want me to interview me or have me act as a guest character in TV shows. Sam sometimes has a difficult time keeping my schedule together, but he can manage for now. He's planning on hiring an assistant soon. As a matter of fact, I'm now preparing for another interview at one of the local radio stations. I still need to look my best because they plan on streaming it live on their social media pages. As I apply my lipstick, my phone rings. It's Sam. He doesn't usually call right before an event, so I answer it and put him on speaker as I continue putting on my makeup. "What are you doing right now?" he asks. "Talking to you, of course," I answer. "Just kidding. I'm preparing for the radio interview, so I'm doing my makeup." "Could you stop for a while? I don't want to mess up your look." Strange request, but all right. I can't help but think he has bad news. "Okay, done. Spit it out." "Well, I just got a call from the academy. Guess what they said?" "Oh gosh. The academy?" I ask him. "Tell me now before I hyperventilate." Sam lets out a big laugh. I want to reach out through the phone and smack him. "The movie's been nominated for several awards. I'm so excited for everyone." Sam gushes. "Wow, being nominated is already an honor. What categories did we get?" "A lot of minor technical awards like production, costume, and soundtrack. Casper's nominated for Best Director, you for Best Actress, and of course, the Best Picture of the Year." I'm speechless. "Lillian, are you still there?" Yes, still breathing. I just can't believe it." "You all worked hard for it. You deserve the recognition. They're officially announcing the nominees tomorrow." "Thank you so much, Sam. This is wonderful news. We all should go and celebrate. But in the meantime, I've got an interview to get ready for." I end the call, and I'm back to applying mascara on my eyelashes. Today's the day of the awards ceremony, and everyone's anxious and excited at the same time. I've had butterflies in my stomach all morning. After my team completes my hair and makeup, my stylist helps me into my gown. It's a strapless white dress that accentuates my curves. I turn around several times in front of the mirror, amazed at how my look transformed. I feel like Cinderella. For the finishing touch, I put on a pair of stud diamond earrings. I smile at my reflection, still in awe of how far I've come. One of the staff tells me that Casper's already here, so I grab my purse and go down the stairs. He's waiting for me at the bottom, and I can see the look of admiration in his eyes as he checks me out. "You look enchanting tonight, my dear," he whispers as I reach the last few steps. He takes my hand and kisses it softly. "I've got something for you," he tells me. He puts his hand into his pocket and pulls out a beautiful necklace that matches my earrings. I turn around and he puts it around my neck. "It's lovely. Thank you," I say before I kiss him on the cheeks. He offers his arm to me as we walk towards the limo waiting outside. We're off to the venue. "I'm nervous," I tell Casper softly. He holds my hand and squeezes it gently. "You got this. I'm here with you." I rest my head on his shoulders. Finally, we arrive at the theater. The door opens and we hit the red carpet. All I can see are flashes of light as thousands of photographers take our picture. We pose and wave to our fans by the sides, who've been waiting for us the entire night. We then stop for a short interview. The host asks me how I'm feeling. This is my first time, so I'm very nervous, but at the same time excited. He turns towards Casper. "Now, Casper, everyone's dying to know this. You've been dating Lillian here for quite some time now. When are we going to hear wedding bells?" Casper gives a short laugh. "Now, that would be a surprise. Don't worry, everyone will know once we get there," he answers with a wink. After a few more questions, we head inside where we sit down with the rest of the nominees. The program begins. Everyone cheers as we win Best Picture of the Year. Everyone from the cast and crew makes their way up the stage to receive the award. When my name is announced as the winner of the Best Actress award, I almost can't believe it. Casper nudges me slightly and urges me to stand up and go to the stage. Once I find myself in front of all the Hollywood greats, I almost forget what to say. I wasn't expecting to win, I admit. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Academy for noticing my work. I continue my speech by thanking everyone I'm truly grateful for. My heartfelt gratitude to everyone who's been behind me from day one. My manager Sam, Aunt Mary, my co-stars, the production team, and of course our director Casper. I managed to catch a glance of Casper while on stage. He looks like he's just about ready to cry. Everyone claps as I return to my seat. The feeling is surreal. The last award is for the Best Director. It would be Casper's ultimate redemption if he were to win. I can feel his hands tighten around mine as the nominees are announced. And the award for this year's Best Director goes to... The presenter opens the envelope and breaks out into a wide smile. "Casper Lux!" I jump up for joy and give Casper a quick kiss before he goes up the stage. He gives a great speech. He fails to mention me, but I understand that he's just overwhelmed. After all, we can always just celebrate privately. Suddenly, he grabs the mic from its stand and walks toward where we're sitting. I don't quite understand what's happening. Of course, I'd like to acknowledge my muse, my inspiration, Lillian Sparks, he says while looking straight at me. "You don't know how much you mean to me." I give him a sweet smile. "There's just one thing that's missing right now," Casper announces. He goes down on one knee and pulls out a ring from his pocket. I gasp loudly. "Lillian, would you please do me the honor of spending the rest of your life with me as my wife?" "Yes." "Of course I will." He puts the ring on my finger, and we share a sweet kiss. Everyone cheers, and just like that, I'm engaged on nationwide television.
You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. When I'm done, you're
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy,
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
and you might got the money,
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
but that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you,
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 20. Casper. I used to think planning a movie was the hardest task I'd ever have to accomplish, but I've since been proven wrong. Planning a wedding is harder. Planning a wedding in between shooting movies definitely tops the list. Right after our movie won several awards and Lillian accepted my proposal to be her husband, I thought we'd be married in 3 months. What I didn't realize is the amount of effort and energy it takes to give Lillian the dream wedding she deserves. Arranging our schedule was the biggest nightmare of all. Because of our awards, we instantly became hot commodities in Hollywood. Several producers want to tap me to direct their films. Lillian, on the other hand, has gotten various offers ranging from movies, television series, commercials, and print ads. Even though we wanted to accept every offer, we needed to choose them carefully. Most importantly, we had to set aside enough time for our wedding preparations. Thankfully, in between shoots and our demanding schedules, we've been able to manage. Even though we hired the best wedding planner in California, Lillian still wants to be a hands-on bride. We agreed to have our wedding held in New York City so that it'd be easier for Aunt Mary, Aunt Sarah, and Grandma Lucia to attend. They're some of the most important people in our lives, and it's a non-negotiable that they'll be there. After almost a year of being engaged, we're finally getting married this weekend. Lillian and I are at the airport, waiting for our flight to New York. She's on the phone with Sam, giving him some final instructions before the wedding. All of the guests will be flying down 2 days before the wedding, and Sam will be the primary coordinator for our Hollywood friends. Yes, that's correct, Sam. Don't worry about anything, I trust you. We'll see you in a few days, she says. She ends her call and looks at me. I smile at her. There are still times when I can't believe how lucky I am to have found Lillian. Her beauty still mesmerizes me, and the way she handles herself just makes me proud. Some of the other passengers notice us and congratulate us on our upcoming wedding. The airline finally announces our boarding. I take Lillian's hand, and we walk towards the gate. Happily Ever After starts as soon as we land.
And that's where we're going to put a pause on pleasure.
It looks like the rest of this chapter is just too naughty to put on the air.
As much as we'd love to share every little detail, we've got to stick to this platform's guidelines to keep these free audiobooks coming.
They've got some rules about what we can show, and we wouldn't want to risk losing the chance to bring you more content.
As frustrating as it is to build the tension only to be interrupted, Miss Tyla always knows how to make it up to you.
You can find the full, uncut scene over at tylawalker.com.
With an entire library of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks, Miss Tyla's collection is waiting for you.
And if you use code SAVE40, you'll get 40% off any digital product, even on bundles that are already discounted.
So don't let the fun stop here. Head over to tylawalker.com and treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
This is it. The moment we've been waiting for. Our loved ones are present, and I can see the smile on their faces as I walk towards the front of the crowd. Grandma Lucia looks at me with pride and joy as she dabs her eye with her handkerchief. The bridal march plays, and I hold my breath as the door opens to reveal Lillian, looking ethereal in her white gown. She looks straight into my eyes and smiles lovingly at me. I'm overwhelmed with emotion. Everything feels like it's in slow motion as she glides down the aisle with Aunt Mary by her side. Not a single eye inside the room is dry as I reach for her hand. "Hi, gorgeous," I whisper. "I can't for you to be mine. I am yours, all yours." The ceremony begins and everything is a blur. I just want Lillian to be mine. "Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you Mr. and Mrs. Casper and Lillian Lux," the minister announces. He looks at me and says, "You may now kiss the bride." Slowly, I lift the veil off Lillian's face and mouth. "I love you." "I love you too," she answers softly. We share a short but sweet kiss, then embrace each other tightly. The audience erupts into applause. Everyone proceeds to the function room where the reception is to be held. We wanted to keep our wedding as small and as intimate as can be, so we only invited the people very close to our hearts. We knew that the paparazzi would be stalking us, so to avoid any untoward incidents, we promised to release official photos the next day. Lillian and I visit each table to mingle with our guests. It's a great night with sumptuous food, great music, and superb company. Sam gives a short speech congratulating us. Then Aunt Mary offers us marriage advice. To our surprise, Grandma Lucia asks for the mic as well. She tells us to give her a great-grandchild as soon as possible.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
I carry a giggling Lillian inside the penthouse suite of the hotel we're staying in. Gently, I put her down in the middle of the room. She removes all the accessories on her hair and places them on the bedside table. Then, she goes in front of me. "Can you help me with my dress?" I turn her around and undo the buttons of her gown one by one. I plant a kiss on each bit of skin that's exposed. She steps out of the gown and, to my surprise, she's wearing nothing but white lacy underwear. Unable to stop myself, I grab her and kiss her on the mouth. We share a passionate kiss until we run out of breath. I lead her towards the king-sized bed and lay her down.